Cool. I'm going to share PowerPoint just so that we got the list of things that PowerPoint shows. So yes, I mean, we had the idea of basically having a virtual chat. With the idea being, obviously, we haven't been able to meet in person for a long time. Even before lockdown, we sort of had a while before that where we didn't meet. So this is basically just a catch up to chat. We have the idea is we've put stuff out on GitHub, and guys went there and added comments in the discussion of things that they wanted to or thought that would be cool for us to chat about. Obviously, this session being more of I wouldn't say soft skills because it's not really a skills one, but more of a non-tech type presentation, potentially, depending on where those topics go. But more just to catch up and see how everyone's doing. So the four things that landed up there is to chat about how lockdown is going in general, what are guys doing to still be effective in this time, chatting about Snap Camera and RTX Voice, and taking exams from home as well as virtual events. And at that point, I'm going to stop presenting so we can switch back to seeing everyone's faces. And then I can also see if someone needs to be admitted. And yeah, let's chat about those things. So how's lockdown going for everyone so far?
Absolutely awesome. This is getting so old so quickly.
We're in week 6, 7. How long? I've been
6.
home since the week before Summit, so
yeah,
a long time.
Yeah, so for you guys that are not related to the Rivco, I think that we were ordered home 2 weeks before lockdown started. 2 or 3 weeks before lockdown started, we were ordered home and have been working from home since then. And it's interesting to say the least.
Yeah, have you guys also found like it's a lot more taxing on yourself? Like your normal workday would, for me, I find like I wake up in the morning, 7 o'clock, I'm like, I'll log on, get some stuff done before stand up. And then it comes to like 6, 7 o'clock at night, and I'm like, oh wait, I should probably have logged off because, I need to do other stuff that's not work.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you put on your headphones at around 8:30 when the first stand-up starts, and then at 12 o'clock, oh shit, it's lunchtime. Maybe I should do something, and then Jesus.
Lunchtime is like 30 minutes ago. You just like lose track completely.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. That's also here's lunch. I've literally like just before we jumped on, I made some lunch so I could eat something because 12:30 went past. And I was like, I need to go eat. And then we jumped on a design call, which took a long time. And then from there, jumped onto another call. And then you're trying to get normal work done at the same time. It's just ridiculous. Have you guys been doing any interesting projects, like online or anything in this town?
So from my perspective, I don't have time. I had to take some leave to do some stuff with my blog and do some private projects that is not really that I was lagging on. So it's. I thought the whole thing being in lockdown would give you lots and lots of time to do stuff.
Well, everyone that's not in IT has got lots of time, right? Because they're all like, oh, we've come up with these new hobbies and things to do at home, and we've got so much free time. And it's like, guys, I have less time.
So, Ronald, how about you? How are you taking this?
Yeah, it's going good. I was working from home since after the summit, so I think a week.
Okay.
Week after. Yeah, it's been going good. But quiet at home. I miss the work environment of actually being with the team. Yeah, it does get a bit lonely at home. I don't know about how y'all feel being away from the team. Like, I think being at the media for the last 2.5 years, this was the first time of being away from the team for an extended period of time. Right. Even though we can work remotely, we just choose not to. Yeah, I think it's just the environment of the media. Yes.
Yeah, our team does this thing where, like, at the end of every week, we sort of close down slightly early. And the guys basically just, we have a group chat, so the oaks come with whiskey, and then we basically just chat to the end of the week. And some guys carry on working while they're chatting. I found what I've been doing as well, and I suppose, like you say, it's from not being at work with everyone else. I'll jump on a call with one of the guys, Dan, and we wouldn't, like, we'd start off by talking about actual stuff, and then we'll just carry on doing normal work just with each other in the background. So we can chat to each other as if we were at work. I think the other day we were on a call for like 2.5 hours. And before we're like, again, oh wait, it's 7 o'clock, we need to log off. But yeah, we just being there, you've got someone, like, you can start talking and they're there to hear you and talk back as if you're in the office. I found that it felt easier to work while doing that, even though we weren't like actively talking. So it's an interesting change, I guess.
Yeah. Tony, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. I consult to a couple of insurance companies, and I tend to work from home anyway. So for me, I used to travel quite a bit to the customers, and I can't travel, obviously. Other than that, and I found that grass doesn't stop growing when it's supposed to. So you've got a guy who uses this alien machine in the garage that you've got to push around the garden, which is a real pain. I never knew these things existed.
Yeah, I have the same problem. Jesus, all of a sudden there's a lot of stuff not happening at home because it's locked down. Have to clean the house and mow the lawn and
yeah. We have a big garden, which I used to think was an advantage, but I really regret it now.
Yeah, Jesus. Lawrence, how are you doing, mate? Long time no speak.
Yeah, Mr. Niels, how are you, man? Yeah, all good, huh? All good. For me, it's been flipping. I'm supposed to be on leave, but I've been working right through. So it's quite unusual when you're at home, because you think it'll be relaxed. And then you have no excuse to not have a back-to-back meeting, and it's like 9 go to 10, 10 go to 11, 11 go to 12. I mean, it's literally back to back.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's flipping exhausting.
It is. So yeah. So.
Nice shirt there, Niels.
I know. Yeah. Maybe one day you will get one as well.
I got on this call and I saw some 1970s guy with a pink thing around. Gordon, was that you? It was like a hippie.
Which one?
Am I on the right call?
Did you see this? Did you see this guy?
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to start off the meeting by instead being this guy, but then it's like no one knows at all who's on the other end of the camera, right?
Well, we would know immediately as you, because that is some sort of an better version than what you see normally.
Oh man, I love this app.
Jeez.
What's the story with you guys now? You guys going back to the office or level 4?
No. We're not back to the office. I think that so nothing has been decided. We're definitely not back to the office in level 4. Potentially level 3, but it will. From what I understand, it will be a very, very phased approach. Vivendran, I don't know if you've heard anything different, but that's us at least.
Pretty much
Yeah.
that, but then also for Durban, it's a bit of a different situation because our premier said we're gonna probably stay at level 5 for a while.
Yeah, but we're not at level 5 now. I mean, we went to level 4 together with the rest of the country.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
talk
but,
about us staying at level 5 because of the volumes, but that didn't end up happening.
But the way I see it, probably even if I'm given the choice to go back to the office, I probably won't. I mean, I've gotten pretty comfortable with this, and if I do, it probably maybe once or twice a week, probably till July.
Yeah.
I'm finding I'm saving a lot more money because there's no bolt-on to buy.
And no petrol to buy to drive into the to work.
That long drive from Westfall.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's big advantages. Have you guys seen any of your work groups guys sending around homemade alcohol? So I mean, we had the other day guys like, hey, here's some recipes to make some vodka at home.
Yeah. So my wife, she's from Russia. I mean, she's always been, but she's brewing, distilling vodka. And the other day we put on a new batch here, so we won't run out.
The difference is you guys have like you have a thing to like measure the alcohol levels and everything in your vodka, though, right?
Yes.
But everyone else is just going to wing it and then try the vodka and see how it turns out.
Oh God. Yeah. So it sounds like
home office look like. Like, are you just sort of on a table somewhere? I've seen some people in kitchens. Originally, I was in sort of like our lounge, and that did not work. Like my dog was just constantly. Yeah. Now I'm in a guest room where I can close the door, better lighting as well, and there's a beach.
Yeah, exactly. That was Björn, that was not very nice to say about your wife. The dog disturbed me all the time. Yeah. So do you guys have? I mean, so you're obviously in a spare bedroom. Do the rest of you guys have, well, offices, or are you sitting right in the lounge, in the kitchen? In where are you working from?
I'm in the lounge.
Basically, yeah, I slid my laptop in front of my desktop machine the same way as I normally work from home. It works out quite nicely because obviously work gave us the docking station, so I've got the little Thunderbolt cable from the side here. I basically just drop the laptop down, plug it in, and then I take the USB stick for the wireless keyboard and mouse, and I basically just switch that between the docking station and my desktop machine.
Right.
And then I use it too. So I need to get one of those cool fancy switches so I can switch it. I was saying I haven't done yet. And then off the docking station to my screen, I've got, because the screen's using the DVI ports, so I'm using the HDMI out of the docking station into the screen as well, so I can just switch the display mode and get more screens when I am using the PC at home, which works out quite nicely.
Yeah.
Lawrence, what's your setup?
I've got one of the rooms in the house. So I live with my folks. So there's quite a few. There's 2 vacant rooms. So one of the rooms are just pretty empty. Good lighting, and yeah, I just connect up and do what I need to. I mean, I've flipping got 3 laptops, which is getting very confusing now. So I've got one for my CloudLogic. I've got 2 for CloudLogic. I've got one for Microsoft, and it's frustrating because I mean, you've got to put these different identities on and operate. But yeah, you kind of walk in the lounge. You take the Microsoft, do some work. You walk into the bedroom, you do some CloudLogic work. You go to the other bedroom, you do some. So yeah, it's I've got a room for every flipping company or personality.
So it does actually look like they say, hey, is that a backdrop you changed? And you're like, no, I'm running between the rooms for the different meetings.
Yeah. I don't have fancy backgrounds. It's got different rooms.
Yeah, we had one of the guys in our team, his ceiling fell through. So he had oaks that had to come over and fix the ceiling. Someone else's like bathroom was being replaced, but it was like in the middle of being done. So like they had people there were drilling and making a lot of noise at their place. So it was like they're going out into the garden and like to the edge of where their Wi-Fi reaches and trying to join meetings. So there's like some quietness.
Whose ceiling fell in, Gordon?
Cat ceiling. Yeah.
Wow.
Great fun. And like he says, I mean, are you guys starting your cars in that properly? Like my battery died at one point and then we jumped it and now I'm remembering to keep on jumping. The thing is, like, I did for like 2 weeks. I started my car every now and again to let it run. And then after a while, just like the days just bled into each other. And I was like, no, man, I did it yesterday. And then I went to go start it on one day and it was just dead. So yeah, Cat's car is completely dead, and apparently it's with the BMWs, it's fancy. Like you have to get at it at a weird angle, so like he has to call someone out to be able to start that. Like he can't just start his car either.
I go out on the highway every 10 days or so, out of Winston Park area. I just hit the M3 and drive a bit because I think you need to get that your battery charging and get on the road, avoid the cops.
Yeah. I mean, we're using my wife's car like for the shopping and whatnot. It's just my car's just sitting on the side because it used to just be I use it, drive to work, and come back, and now I just don't use it at all.
Cool.
So now, did you want to show us some stuff with SnapCam and stuff, or just general conversation?
No, I've been practicing some demos, so I'll show you guys stuff.
Please tell me that the RTX voice stuff is so I can change my voice in a call.
No, it's not so you can change your voice, but you can get rid of stuff.
Because I was hoping that I could change my voice because that would be pretty cool. Because that's the next thing I was looking for after I found SnapCam.
There probably is some app somewhere that you can change your voice with. Can you guys still see me?
Well, I can see.
Yeah.
I can see you in the like on the normal, the bottom, and then your screen sharing above that.
Let me turn off my filter. So because I'm at home, like everyone was saying, I've been on a million.
You have a fancy mic.
I do have a fancy mic because the one that Niels is wearing right now, I hate that thing. Like the audio quality on it is so. The microphone is good, but the sound going into my ears, no. So like I've just been on a million calls, like Lawrence was saying as well, and they back to back. And when you wear that thing, especially with glasses, I've got thicker frame glasses. So when you're wearing that thing for like 4 or 5 hours straight, you feel that clamping force a bit and it starts to hurt. So I was like, okay, I want to get my mic set up and like get that thing off my head. But the problem was, I mean, there's ambient noise. I've got a dog that doesn't know how to bark. So he like just howls or like screams and makes weird sounds. And now, especially if I'm on a call with Carl, I don't need to think like somebody's being murdered, like just outside of my room. And then I came across this thing called RTX Voice. And right now I put it, and it's about, what's this, 80% noise saturation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it up. And potentially you guys may hear that sort of the noise flow sort of rises and they put a background noise. But okay, I can't hear anything. So obviously for my demo it's quieter already. Then I was like, okay, cool. Let me plan a test. So like this is me typing, right? super annoying about clicking keyboard. But watch the screen as I turn it on.
Wow.
It's gone.
That's impressive, yeah.
And
That's
obviously
impressive.
a bit excessive. And it does sort of take away from the voice. So I don't have that 100% because it makes you sound like nasally but distant at times. But at this sort of level, like everything just goes. Like even if someone's standing in front of you and speaking to you, somehow you can differentiate the person speaking into mic or someone speaking around. And to me, it's just magic.
Guys, is it just me or is Pivendran, is he breaking up quite badly?
Yeah, I'm also struggling.
I thought it was my connection was bad, so I thought I'd just keep it. But then, yeah, so it must be nice connections.
No, it's probably my connection. So
I think it's your mic. I think it's your mic, Pivendran.
Yeah, it's probably the mic that's doing that.
Neil's
Get a real mic.
That's the magic. So there's that, and NVIDIA is here for this. They computer their fancy RTX cards. So what they've done is they've branded it RTX, but it works on the NVIDIA stuff. There's an installation file where they've explicitly put a constraint to exclude GTX cards. So what you do is you start installation, it extracts the temp folder, you can modify, you remove the constraint essentially, and then you just install it. And it works well. And I've been using this for all my meetings for a couple of weeks now. I think it was last week, I was on call Taylor, and like I forgot I had Echo Dots playing music in the background, and he didn't share it. Like I could hear it, but he could, which is pretty.
That's pretty cool.
Then the sort of meeting requirement is Snap Camera, and this one is pretty easy. You just download that app, and then what it does is it installs a virtual camera machine, and in pretty much any meeting app or web you use the camera, you'll see. I don't think I can do this. If you go, you'll see another camera called Snap Camera here. And you've got this whole list. I added a couple of favorites. My default is on beach, but then like you can see for some reason Gordon also jump, I think. Or it's trying to channel his alpha jump. And then it's a bunch of others. This is me actually. I have I can be okay. And today I found this new. It can be in the ocean. And I think I might like this board then behind me. And then see it's insane. I'm not sure you can this. They get that's me. I just thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, thanks. I freaking love SnapCam. Try to talk now, Nike. Let's see if your voice returned back to being less robotic.
Am I less robotic now?
No.
Slightly. Well, yeah.
So the other thing that I've got two more problems I need to solve. One is my internet. I switched to the Brain Unlimited 4G. So 10 meg up and 10 meg down. I need to buy some quick gear, and then I'm going to buy 2 SIM cards, and I'm going to load balance them because 10 meg up and down is not enough. And then My second issue, which should be solved on Wednesday, is I've got a crap chair set up, so I'm a bit better. Finally, take a lot of selling secure, so I'm going to get up this chair by Wednesday.
I missed a lot of that.
Yeah.
I got the gist of it. There's something coming from Take a Lot, and you're using rain, which was your first mistake. Because when everyone jumps on the bandwagon, naturally the towers are going to get flooded, and you're not going to have great connectivity. But then Take a Lot's going to do something else that's going to help you.
Take a Lot's going to help with me being better because of my batch.
Right. Gordon, what else is there on the agenda?
So Ronald mentioned he's been taking some exams from home, so he's going to chat to us a bit about that.
Or
start a conversation around that.
So at Immediate, we had some high-level goals for the company, that certain number of certifications that we want to achieve as a company. So I wanted to switch my focus for learning from being focused on apps and infrastructure to learning more about data and machine learning and that avenues. So there was one beta exam that I've took, DP 300, which is more low-level SQL and T-SQL and SQL Server focused. So that I've taken, I think, 3 weeks ago. And the other exam was the DP 201, which is architecting data solutions.
So how does that work? It's like, do you do online? Like, is there someone that like watches you or something?
Yeah, so the process of actually taking the exam is the same. Instead of just choosing at a test venue, you just choose at home. So that was the same. The only difference was that the sign up process, like 15 minutes before the exam, you have to take pictures of your work environment where you'll be taking the exam itself. Like, because here in Mars, I'll be doing it in the lounge. So I had to take pictures of the screen. Any external monitors you have to switch off and unplug. Take pictures of the surrounding room, like the left-hand side, right-hand side, behind. There was someone on the other end. You have to have your webcam on so that they can record it. Yeah, but it was a very smooth process. The only thing is your internet connection has to be stable. There were some other issues like background apps that's running. You need to like kill everything. Only the Pearson View app needs to be running. Skype decided to just start running in the background, and that killed the Pearson View app. Yeah. And it's such a scary situation because the exam already started, and then Skype starts up, and then the Pearson View app crashes. Yeah.
And then when you kill Skype, does it somehow come back, or did you just like?
No, I had to go and restart the exam, but it just like continued from where I last stopped. The timer didn't stop, or just kept going.
Okay.
Yeah. But it is nice.
And now they'll forever know that during that exam you opened Skype to ask someone something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
And
That's awesome.
For these exams before lockdown, were you going for those 7-day like sessions where someone teaches you and goes through the content?
No,
Or were you doing some other way?
like normally my process of doing exams is just to go to the exam page or whatever. Let me just share my screen. I'll show you my.
Whoa, he's half disappeared.
Yeah.
No, I got 2 monitors.
Up until that point, I believe that was your house that you're sitting in. But then, you know, when your body disappeared and your arms were only left.
Then we kind of got it.
So I'm just gonna share my screen. So normally for like the DP201 exam, I'll normally just go through the exam page. Somewhere on this page we'll have like the outline of it. There'll be some skills, what's covered. Normally I'll just Google search for one of the, like choose a partition type for Azure Data Storage. Normally this will be like Cosmos DB partition types. Yeah. Also, there should be.
Because obviously Cosmos DB is always the right solution.
Yeah.
Cosmos DB is going to solve world hunger. It's amazing.
Also, there's the docs.microsoft/learn, which has role-based tutorials. You can just choose like data engineer, and you'll have modules focusing on data engineer. So most of the content comes from Microsoft's documentation. So there isn't anything else that you would need to supplement the learning with.
Okay.
From
So
what I've seen.
is that learn there, is that pointing to other MS docs, like on docs of Microsoft, or is it like video content as well mixed in there?
There are some video content, but the video content that I've seen is more marketing related to Microsoft.
Okay. Okay.
For example, like I'm just going through one. I'm sure this will have a video, I think. Yeah, like we'll have the public versus hybrid, and this video will be telling you about why Microsoft and why the public cloud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lawrence, why didn't you make the video, man?
Exactly.
Which video?
We're disappointed here, Lawrence.
Give me a sec.
He's gonna find him.
He's switching laptops.
By the way,
He's gonna be like, refresh now.
did you guys hear of AWS's launch?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Cape Town.
Interesting though that it's only one region.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Azure's sort of like one region. I mean, there is two, but they penalize you heavily if you use Cape Town.
No, so you're absolutely correct. The thing is that when you like large customers like that, they usually have HA as a prerequisite in the designs. Now, the challenge is that's when you kind of figure out. Hang on a sec. Cape Town is DR. Cape Town is a DR data center. So it's not a. You can't by default go and spin anything up in ZA West. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I've noticed.
You can get put on a whitelist,
but predominantly it's for it's for Azure Site Recovery. You want to failover workloads. It's not the same size data center either. But if you're on the whitelist, then you can do scenarios like having active workloads and load balancing workloads and all that. So technically, yes, ZA West is the primary data center.
You mean north, south?
ZA North. Yeah.
I mean, you could do your things into AWS, right? You can fail over things sort of with some magic in the background into the AWS.
With Azure?
Yeah. So I mean, using some magics in the background. I mean, it would be
so the only thing you can do is, like, when you build your applications, you build them for active passive failover, but you're gonna have to like set up your application to do database replication and all that. But there's no synchronization out of each vendor, but there's probably third-party capabilities that allow you to do fancy stuff like that. But Microsoft is pretty advanced when it comes to doing replication from on-premise to the cloud, replicating from one to the other. But obviously, they won't allow you. They won't put it that the direction from Azure to AWS will be something they'll want. They'll do it the other way, but not. Actually, they do it the other way. So you can fail over from AWS workloads, VMs into Azure, or run them like side by side.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting thing, because I'm assuming with there being the sort of the main data center being in Joburg, any like big customers in Cape Town, a big reason for them to want to go to AWS is potentially the fact that they've got the DC right there. Instead of that hop to Joburg. I mean, the milliseconds is very low for something like that. But I mean, if you're planning, I mean, like lots of guys are looking at moving stuff out of the offices themselves and moving all their virtual machines into Azure, just so that they don't have that on-prem. Now, if you're going to do that, you would want those to be as close as possible, just for those little bit of milliseconds that it could save you, right?
Yeah, interesting that Microsoft hasn't launched availability zones in South Africa. I don't think it's live yet, but AWS went live with availability zones, which means that even though it's in Cape Town, you have 11 miles apart. So you could choose up to 3 availability zones. So you could have an entire data center get taken out in Cape Town, and you could still have your AWS workload operational.
So they do have multiple DCs. They just all happen to.
They got multiple DCs. Yes, multiple province. DCs. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's so. We're working quite closely with the AWS guys. Ironically, in the same team. We're one company, but in the same team with AWS guys. And it's interesting when you're whiteboarding with the guys, the similarities and the differences with both platforms. In a lot of ways, they do things very, very differently. Whereas in other aspects, you know, it's a JSON fabric, and you have where you have AKS, you have EKS, and you have the. But in a lot of ways, they're similar. In some ways, they're very different, but the differences can be quite different.
Yeah, like the pricing that they have generally doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and but it's more than likely, in my opinion. This is my opinion, personal opinion. You're more than likely to cross over from Azure as an Azure solution architect to AWS than it is to be somebody who is because it's a cloud platform, and it's for cloud semantics. If your head is in the cloud in terms of understanding how to build enterprise applications, you'd more than likely transition between Azure to AWS very easily. That's my opinion. Whereas someone who doesn't understand cloud but may be familiar with like not familiar with Microsoft Enterprise Cloud products or whatever will find it very difficult. But yeah, so that's a positive. So what I'm going to try to do now is I'm also trying to get certified on AWS. So I'll test the theory out.
So you're going to show us a lot of cool demos with that.
Yeah, why not?
Now we just need Google to come here, and then we've got everyone. Because now AWS is the third big provider on African continent. Because like what was it, a day or two before Azure launched here, that like Chinese data centers said, "Hey, we've got something in Africa."
Huawei.
Because Azure was going to be the first, and then very soon after that, it was not the first anymore.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to 5, or I mean it's 1:45. The last thing that we had here on the list is virtual events. I mean, soon after lockdown started, I attended DevConf. So that was, I think it was a whole day, 2 days, a whole day, virtual event. Lots of content. You could jump between rooms as if you're in an actual event. The big benefit obviously being that when a session's not that great and you walk out the door, not everyone sees you walk out the door. You sort of can walk out one door and into the next without people noticing you. So that was pretty cool. And now Build, Microsoft's doing the same thing with Build this year, and that's obviously free for everyone to go register for. Have you guys attended any conferences, or are you attending Build when that comes up soon?
Yeah, I registered for Build. We'll see if I'm attending or not. It's the concern is that now, and I mean, it's awesome that the conferences are virtual and that they are free. What about the whole company now attends Build? That's not gonna friggin' work, right?
Yeah, good point. I mean, so you can be the only guy at the office now, the virtual office.
Yeah, so there will probably be discussions. I think that team leads and POs, etc. will talk about it. But yeah, I have signed up for Build.
Yeah, I mean, with those things, I normally like if there's a session that I really want to stay up for, because obviously those are generally at night. If there's a big enough gap, I generally go to sleep and then I wake up again. And then like join that session afterwards. Yeah. And I sort of like, I try hard to pick and choose what I watch live, just so that I can be awake more, obviously for the work week. At least that's what I did like for Ignites and stuff when that streams.
Cool. I'm actually doing a cloud, one of these Azure Cloud Fridays in Cape Town or whatever it is this Friday. But seeing that it's Jody Roberts who arranges, or then no one knows what's going on and when it is and how it's going to be. So I guess I'll see the morning, the same morning when I'm going to talk with John.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I registered for one of those a couple of weeks back, but then it landed in my wrong calendar, so I didn't see my request. And at the end of the day, I saw the request, which wasn't that great. So any of you joined any virtual conferences or plan to do any?
No, but I want to go to a few more. So yeah. Awesome. Sorry, I'm going to have to jump off. I've got another call that I need to set up for in 10 minutes. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Great talking to you.
Awesome. Cheers. You too. Cool. Cheers.
Cheers, man.